All right, I think we're live now. Thank you for being here, everyone. For our weekly update, we actually have some really cool stuff to talk about. Today we had our last regular meeting of the year last Tuesday, which we really did some cool stuff. But I think that we did so much of it. It was a 4-hour meeting that it's going to take us a couple weeks to talk about, I think, or brag about the different stuff that happened. So the first thing I want to chat about, though, is really our library. We have Sean Jones from the library who's going to give us an update on a Linwood branch closure as we begin a process to expand our library services out in southeast Wichita. So with that, I'm going to give the floor to Sean to give us an update on that process.
Thank you, Mayor. The library is excited to enhance library services to residents of Southeast Wichita by relocating the Linwood Park branch from its current location in the Linwood Recreation Center to a highly visible, easily accessible new location at 4195 East Harry. However, in order for us to open that new location, we first need to close our current location. So the Linwood Park Branch Library will close at the end of business on Friday, January 15th, 2021. During this time, staff will work to box up the collection and other materials and move over to the new location. The exterior book drop at the Linwood Park Branch will remain open for customers to use through January 30th. After that, customers should begin using the new exterior book drop at the new location. The new location on Harry Street is 6,904 square feet and will feature 16 public computers compared to the 8 that we currently have at the Linwood location, an expanded children's section, a designated teen section, a self-check station, and a large meeting room with after-hours capability. This move will restore library services in City Council District 3, which hasn't had library services since the Plainview branch closed in 2015. More information about this project can be found on wichitalibrary.org, and I have a quick video to show you a little sneak peek of what the new location will look like. Welcome to your new Wichita Public Library branch located at 4195 East Harry Street in Southeast Wichita. We can't wait to open this cutting-edge new library to serve our community. We're planning for an early 2021 opening date. But until then, we wanted to give you a quick sneak peek of the new facility. Come along with us.
This new library will be the new home of the Linwood Park Branch Library. It's double the size of the current Linwood Park branch at 6,904 square feet. We're expanding technology at this location with 16 public computing stations, printing, faxing, and copying services, as well as a self-check station, like the ones at the Advanced Learning Library. Of course, this branch will also have free Wi-Fi. The children's and teen sections will be expanded with more room for books, lounging, and studying. We're also thinking about the community we're serving and are thrilled to have a large community room complete with after-hour access, so even when the library is closed, the community can still use this space. We can't wait to welcome you home to your new Wichita Public Library branch. A name for this location will be announced in January. Visit wichitalibrary.org and follow the City of Wichita and Library's social media channels for updates as we begin the relocation process. Your new District 3 branch library coming soon.
All right, thank you.
All right, as a resident of District 3, knowing the folks in that community, I think that it will be a huge lift to have a library over in southeast Wichita, so we're looking forward to the progress on that. So Tuesday, we also moved forward and to formally start the design process for the construction of the future Delano Multimodal Center. During the last couple of years, I've heard from many constituents about the importance of upgrading and really working on our public transportation, making it more accessible and more modern, and this is a step towards that. The center is primarily funded by a $14 million grant from the U.S. Department of Transportation, so that's important to know because it's not coming out of our general fund. This is money that we pay in taxes to the feds that is coming back into our Wichita community to help us not just build this, but also you can't pump $14 million into our Wichita economy without having some additional economic activity as a benefit. The affiliated baseball coming to Wichita with plans to begin play in 2021. Now is a great time to move with this multimodal center in preparation for more people making plans to get downtown and to get into that area surrounding the Delano neighborhood. So here to tell us more about this project is Director Mike Tan, who is the Director of Wichita Transit. So Mr. Tan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor. The Transit Department is very excited about moving to the design phase of the Delano Multimodal Center. This is the first community-centered multimodal capital project ever in Wichita. We are excited to be part of a transformational revitalization of Delano and we promise to be excellent stewards to both Delano and to the waterfront area. When this project is completed, there will be unlimited connectability options for Wichitans both in the near vicinity, such as to Intrust Arena, Century 2, the Riverfront Stadium, downtown Wichita, as well as to the rest of Wichita that we connect through public transportation. We hope the hundreds of on-site parking spaces will spur people to get out, walk around, and enjoy what our city has to offer, including hopping on our free downtown circulator, the Q line, and direct connections to WSU, employers all over the city, schools, Windsurge baseball games, and concerts. Its design is open for intercity bus service as well as electric commuter service potentially across Kellogg during peak service times. The design team will be assigned the task of incorporating sustainable energy sources such as solar, working closely with Evergy, water recycling, charging stations for Q shuttles, and also charging stations for citizens' cars. This space is dedicated also, there's also space dedicated for public-private partnership opportunities to enhance both the facility and the Delano neighborhood. Space is also allotted for bike rentals and storage so that citizens can enjoy the waterfront in our downtown area, as well as a safe place to park their car. A clean, safe lobby area, 24-hour security, as well as customer relations, which we hope will enhance, grow, support, and use and increase the usability of our city core, as well as creating a vibrant, multi-use public transportation system. Thank you.
That's a good question.
Yes, sir.
How will this be different from or work in conjunction with the current transit center that's right next to the arena?
By the time that the center is completed, our desire is to have a different type of system than we currently have now as compared to the Pulse system where everybody has to go downtown. We have more on-street transfers going on, more direct lines across. And then utilizing the Q line as we're hoping to expand that into all-day service so that people can use that free Q line service to connect in different parts of the city with other routes that they may need to do. So part of this is also what we're hoping to be is a long-term solution to some of our problems we've been struggling with in public transportation.
Transition to a more efficient or effective form of public transportation?
Efficient and effective would be good definition, yes.
Yeah, Mr. Tan is one of the people who work so hard to identify and to attack issues within our system here in the city of Wichita. I think we were scheduled for about an hour. I think we stayed at your department for about 4 hours when I first got in here, thinking that learning all the different ins and outs of transportation and ways that we can improve it. So I think we're in good hands. I look forward to the future plans on our public transportation. With that, we had a couple of, and we're still waiting for AJ as well. I want to make sure that we talk about AJ and his team, their accomplishments. But we had a couple of things in the city that came up with our CARES Act money that I want to highlight. Well, CARES Act is one of them. First, this year we approved in our CARES Act allocation at our last meeting about $800,000 that is going to help the Wichita Family Crisis Center purchase a new facility to serve victims of domestic violence within our city. In our community and really across the nation, we've seen a surge in domestic violence this year. A 65% increase in aggravated battery and a 39% increase in aggravated assault. So what we want to do is be a better partner with the nonprofit community in ensuring that we can help folks who are victims of domestic violence. So this money will go towards that and give them a space and resources in order to empower the organization to stand against this type of abuse. It's just one way that we are helping victims of domestic violence. Earlier this fall, we of course launched the Divert team, which is made up of 6 Wichita police officers who competed for a spot to research and track down domestic violence offenders. We also have a federal grant that allows the Wichita Police Department to set up a team after a 50% surge in domestic violence cases over the past 5 years. In just the past few weeks, this unit has arrested 60 offenders of domestic violence. So we want to encourage anyone experiencing abuse to reach out to the Wichita Police Department so we can continue to connect you to resources. And again, this, as I mentioned in the council, I toured the current shelter that the Wichita Family Crisis Center is using, and it's really a reformed doctor's office. So these are the dormitories that houses families who are escaping situations of domestic violence are the same size as the room that any of us would visit a doctor in. And these families also have children with them. I think they have, about 30 units or families that could be there at any time, and they only have 2 restrooms. So this is a much needed upgrade, not just to help expand the services, but also to make sure the professionals who are working there have better resources to better serve the population using those services. So very happy that made it through. And just another tidbit about the CARES Act funding. Some communities use the CARES Act really as kind of a one-time benefit. Here, this is another example of how we are taking CARES Act funding and using it not just for the current crisis, which is the coronavirus, but also building an infrastructure that will last beyond the pandemic. We saw allocations so that we could purchase a hotel to help us with our homeless programs, the nonprofit community with their homeless programs, but also this is by utilizing this one-time money to buy a facility that for years from now will help with programs that address domestic violence. So another smart way that our staff is helping us come up with methods to use this money. And lastly, I'm going to talk about is the vote from the council to create a permanent standing council dedicated to diversity, inclusion, and civil rights. Over the summer, because of the work of our community leaders from all different walks of life within Wichita, who got together and discussed as a advisory council to the mayor what we can be doing to ensure that Wichita remains a place of opportunity and diversity for everyone. That work actually resulted in the proposal of a ordinance change, which would create a standing committee that continuously helps us progress towards those changes. Now, it's very important to remember that when it comes to public policy, particularly public policy aimed at equality, it's not so much you pass something and then you check it off your list. You have to have structures in place so that this policy is constantly revisited and upheld. So one of the benefits of this council is that we will continue that progression towards diversity, inclusion, and civil rights, knowing that this isn't just a one-time silver bullet fix. It's an ongoing process that, because of the action of the council, creating this board that will be permanent should last longer than myself being mayor and anyone else service on the council. It should continue on as a lasting community value. So very excited about that, and also want to thank the council and the work that they've done to allow this to move forward. And again, as mentioned during the meeting, thank you to those folks who stepped up and stepped out and were willing to serve on that first board, and to Wichita State's Public Policy and Management Department, who helped us facilitate that process during the summer so that it came up with a meaningful change moving forward, which is this new ordinance that passed last Tuesday. And I think we have, yeah, I saw them walking in, so we're very close and really looking forward to have you guys meet the Wichita Cowboys.
Tell us a little bit about your first year in office and some of the things that you've accomplished and what you've learned.
So we actually, yeah, just briefly, the first year in office, and I plan to expand on this later. Is that Cake? Is Cake actually walking in here right now? Come on, guys. What time is it? No, I'm sorry. I can see the window for those who don't know what I'm talking about. All right, so somebody asked me about this first year in office, and we're going to do a more thorough overview of what this year has been like and what we've accomplished, because I think some people would be pretty amazed if we actually listed out the different accomplishments that we were able to get done this year, not only on diversity and inclusion, not only on putting, I think, more than 10 times the resources that we've ever put into social services, responding to this crisis, this pandemic, both with policy that helps employees, but also that helps employers, coming up with ways that we can help our service industry as changing our ordinances to allow them to expand outside, totally having an overhaul of our incentive programs to help small businesses, which are the backbone of our community, so that when they bounce back next year after we're through the pandemic, they can bounce back even higher than before. We have really taken this head on to make some changes. And someone asked me about, first they compared it to what was it like being mayor this year? Was it kind of like when Mike Tyson says, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. And I said, pretty much my response was, I always plan to get punched in the face, right? Like, it's always part of my plan, because you expect to kind of be, I think, knocked out a little bit whenever you try something big or something major. This was different, where it reminded me of something one of my coaches said back when I used to compete in martial arts, where it was be like water. And to be like water, it was adapt to whatever happens, right? Like, water can adapt to go around whatever is in its way. But also be like water because water hits their opponent everywhere. You can't block water. So strike at your problems everywhere. And that's what we did. So with all the problems that came back, we had to hit at every target in hopes to creating lasting change here in Wichita and responding to the many different stresses that our community went through. What's going on, guys? All right, so with that, I'm going to get into really the more fun part of this presser. So with us here today is the Wichita Cowboys, and we have AJ Bohannon, who is the head coach of the Wichita Cowboys. The Wichita Cowboys are a 7th grade youth football team here in Wichita. The Cowboys have faced many, many obstacles this year with the pandemic, and also even with a spurt of violence that happened at one of their games. But they have overcome that, and they represent really the spirit of Wichita, which even through adversity, they carry on. And by carrying on, I mean that they brought Wichita to a national level championship here in Florida last week for the American Football National Championships, where only 18 teams were invited. And out of those 18 teams in this national championship, our Wichita Cowboys came in 2nd place. So the team ended up really representing us well as a community, representing themselves well. And with that, I wanted to first present them. What do I do with it? Here it is. With a certificate of appreciation from the city. And then I'm going to ask AJ if you want to come up and say a few words. But let me just read this, and then we'll hand it off to you. Be it hereby known, the city of Wichita, in recognition and appreciation, the 7th grade Wichita Cowboys issue this certificate of recognition for outstanding athletic accomplishments for their 2nd place victory in the American Football National Championships on December 12th, 2020. So let me get my mask on, and then I kind of want to get my hands on that trophy, by the way. So I'm going to give you this, and if you need someone to hold that trophy. I'll take that off your hands. But please come on up here. Gentlemen, come on up here if you like. Here you go, sir.
Thank you.
Actually, can I see that? Can I take a look at this? What you guys bring back? All right, so Mr. Bohannon, the mic is yours.
I just want to thank the city of Wichita for all the support, helping getting these young men to the national championship. It was a pleasure and an honor to be able to represent the city of Wichita in the manner in which we did, being able to go out there and compete in a field such as that. We were probably the smallest town at the national championship, but for us to be able to come home with the second place trophy and make it all the way to the championship game is just a testament of the hard work and the effort that these young men have put in throughout the whole year with COVID-19. And then, like the mayor said, the spur of violence that happened, they were able to overcome adversity in several different instances and be able to stand strong at the end of the year and achieve the number 2 title in the whole United States in the 7th grade. So it's amazing, just opportunity for these young men to get there, but for them to be able to achieve what they've achieved, it was definitely nice to put on for the city of Wichita and see those guys really represent what this whole city is about, hard work and just blue-collar effort. And thanks again to the city for wrapping their arms around these young men. They were so excited when you gave them the phone call on the bus before we went to the championship game. So thank you to the mayor for taking time out to let these boys know that, the whole city was watching them. And again, it was an honor and a privilege to be able to represent the city of Wichita in Florida. And we're looking to go back next year and take first place. That's the goal. So thank you again.
Excellent. Thank you. Any questions? The team or the coach? Now we can get questions for their other stuff. All right, John, you got one to come over here because we have other questions. Did you get a picture, by the way? I hope so. So, gentlemen, again, you represent the best of our future here in Wichita. Really, what a way to end what was really a tough year, to put it lightly, to actually, and I remember when your coach reached out and said, well, you guys are going to the championship and asked me to give a call, just the pride I had to hear some good news, right? Because a lot of times, and you got to take the good with the bad, that's part of life, as you guys know, but a lot of times, as mayor, I kind of only hear the bad news at sometimes. And knowing that you all were in Florida, having this experience at 7th grade, and then not only having this experience being part of a national championship, but coming home with some hardware, something like that, I mean, that's major. And I wish that we could honor you properly by bringing you in front of the council and having what we just had so the whole city council could see you. But with coronavirus, this is what we have to, what we have instead to make sure that you guys stay safe and not around too many folks. So with that, I look forward to bringing you in next year in front of the entire council with a new trophy, and also look forward to working with you all in the community in the future. So thank you so much, Coach. Thank you so much, players, for being here. We definitely appreciate it. So with that, we can open up to questions. No questions about anything? Come on, guys. How about... All right, cool. All right, well, thanks a lot for everyone. I don't know if we have one next week. Do we have one of these next week? Last of the year? It's Christmas Eve next week? Okay, so we have Christmas Eve next week. We probably won't have one of these. As always, my goal is to be accessible. Reach out to me if anything comes up and you need any answers or any information. But other than that, thank you all. And to the media here, if I don't see you, Happy New Year and Happy Holidays. Thank you all.
We actually get one.